When you're out at a bar, you don't have much say over every little detail that goes into making your cocktail. That's why some cocktail aficionados only imbibe these adult beverages at home. If you'd like to join their ranks, the first step is, well, learning how to avoid ruining a perfectly good cocktail, of course. Maraschi-no-no. It shouldn't come as much of a surprise, but those artificially sweetened, neon red maraschino cherries that we stuffed into our virgin drinks as kids are not the most natural ingredient you can add to a cocktail. No old-fashioned wants to be sullied by fake sugar syrup. But there's another kind of maraschino cherry out there, the real maraschino cherry. And you should absolutely be putting those into your cocktails. Luxardo maraschino cherries, said to be the original, are candied with sour Marasca cherry juice and sugar without preservatives or coloring. They're a deep, dark purple-red color, and since all maraschino cherries are not created equally, it's worth mentioning that they actually taste like cherries. Really, really good cherries. Your taste buds and your guests will thank you. Mixing things up. We all know that Martha Stewart is the queen of entertaining, and therefore we should all follow her simple piece of advice on how to make a great cocktail. As she says, the juice must be fresh, no mixers, and no skinny girl. Amen, Martha. When you buy a bottle of sour mix or other mixer off the shelf, you have no idea what it will taste like. Plus, chances are it'll be chock full of additives and preservatives. You don't want to chance ruining a cocktail with a funky-tasting mixer when you can easily make them at home. For instance, if you can boil water, you can make simple syrup. Combine equal parts water and sugar in a saucepan and simmer until the sugar is dissolved. It's that simple, and most of the internet's endless tips and tricks for making homemade mixers are just as easy. Hack your hooch. Super cheap vodka may have been your go-to shooter in college, but now that you're making cocktails and you actually care how they taste, those bottom-shelf brands might not be as good as you remember from your wild party days. Maybe you still have a bottle in your cabinet though, or maybe you're just the frugal type. Either way, there's a trick to improve the taste of that crappy, inexpensive vodka. With the help of a regular water filtration pitcher, your cheap vodka won't taste quite so cheap. By pouring it through the pitcher 4 times, you're replicating the filtration process of the more costly stuff. Now, as much as this method will help smooth harsh flavors out, you probably still won't want to drink it straight. But according to America's Test Kitchen, when served in mixed drinks in a blind taste test, it passed with flying colors. If only you'd known this technique in college during that jungle juice phase. All the right moves. James Bond famously preferred his martinis shaken, not stirred, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the correct way to drink them.
A medium dry martini, lemon peel, shaken, not stirred.
Vodka?
Of course.
There is a correct time to shake and a correct time to stir, and the two methods are not interchangeable. As it turns out, Bond's preference would be doing that martini a disservice. Here's why. Shaking a cocktail is meant to introduce air into the liquid, which creates a frothy texture and is necessary when using mixers like citrus or cream-based additions. This method does cause the ice to break down some in the process, but the dilution helps balance the flavors of the drink. Stirring a cocktail is a gentle way to chill the liquid and combine ingredients without introducing air. This keeps things silky, dense, and clear. Generally speaking, cocktails that are made up of all liquor should be stirred, meaning drinks like martinis and Manhattans stay out of the shaker. Sorry, 007. A muddled mess. Muddling seems like a pretty simple technique. Throw a few ingredients into a glass, mash them into oblivion, and continue with your Tom Cruise cocktail impersonation, right? Wrong. There's actually a correct way to muddle, or you run the risk of ruining a perfectly good mojito. Believe it or not, there are several things you have to consider when muddling. For starters, you want to make sure to choose a thick, sturdy glass to make your cocktail. Second, the muddler itself should be flat-bottomed and unlacquered. Utensils with teeth on the end are too rough on herbs. Lastly, and probably most importantly, know your own strength. The muddler is not meant to mash mint leaves or other herbs into a puree. In fact, when you overwork some herbs, like mint, the veins in the leaves release chlorophyll, which is bitter and will make an otherwise fine cocktail taste like freshly cut lawn. Tools of the trade. It's time to ditch the red Solo cups, kids. Sure, they're an easy choice, no dishes to wash, unbreakable, great for beer pong, but they're not doing your cocktails any favors when it comes to taste. Aside from the standard wine and beer glasses, there are a few other cocktail-centric styles you might want to consider adding to your arsenal. Martini, or cocktail glasses, are meant for serving drinks without ice. Use these for classic martinis, of course, and cocktails that are shaken and strained like Manhattans and Cosmopolitans. Rocks, or lowball glasses, are meant for building drinks in, like the old-fashioned. These are the cocktails you'll likely stir, not shake, as well as liquor served straight up. Highball or Collins glasses are meant for mixed drinks with lots of ice, like a mojito or Bloody Mary. Not convinced? Do a martini taste test out of a proper glass and then a red cup, and see if you can't tell the difference.